The two kingdoms that split. And thou being a wild olive tree, and thou, who's the thou? Thou that's referring to the natural Gentiles. And
Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shah, Call Halayim La Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shah, Bahashem Rakah Ha Kodash. Double honors to the big brethren, the men of great millstone, the elders and apostles and the brethren on down. And to the Akim and Akwat that's out there repenting, Shalom to you, Mashpachah. This your Hakarab coming at you with a quick one. And you just heard that. You just heard this individual. And I don't understand this, man. Like, and this is this an old video that I came across of this guy. And I don't understand the with our people, man. The fascination that they have towards these damn Edomites and these fucking rest of these heathens, man. I don't get it. I don't get it. Did you just hear what the brother just said? He just said, and I don't even think that he even in the truth no more. He didn't fell all the way out of the truth, I guess, to go pursue some hydroponic shit. But if you was really about Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shah, you could have still pursued your hydroponic shit and still been bringing out the scriptures, bringing out the truth, or proclaiming the truth. But it seems like that fascination that our people would have towards these I'm telling you, any of our motherfucking people that got that spirit on them, that Christianity spirit on them, you gonna wither away. Because you can't bring that into the truth. You can't bring the doctrine of the devils into the truth of Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shah and think you still gonna be, about Abanawa Yahweh Hashem Mashiach Yahweh Shah's business. You ain't gonna preach your ass you gonna wither away because why? You gonna start the Most High gonna take that Holy Spirit from you because your ass you will know the truth and then you'll start telling lies and shit. See, because anytime you try to mingle that Christianity garbage in with the truth of Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shah, that's what you're doing. You basically taking and adding away unto the scriptures. And your ass he gonna take the Holy Spirit on you so you can go back into the ways of the world and your ass gonna be destroyed. See? But I don't see this fascination that our people have, and it's always about these Edomites. That's who they really are. They ain't give a fuck about talking about these other heathens. It's always talking about the Edomites. See? But I don't want to run my mouth. I just want to get into these scriptures. But I'm going to play at least 5 minutes, maybe 5 minutes or so of this person's stuff. And I'm going to show you this. Maybe it's like about 5 minutes or something of it. And just listen what he said. Now, some things he correct. A lot of things he was correct. But when it comes to the Gentiles, he don't get it. It's like he totally blinded to the fact of when it comes to the Gentile stuff. He don't get it. See? But let's get straight into it. But you see what he said right here pertaining to Romans 11:17. He said the wild olive tree is the natural Gentiles. You're going off right there because it ain't you going off big time. And see, and this, let me say this too. This is what get most of our people. Because you will hear some things that a person will say that he's correct, and then other things he going off on, you will take it as those things is correct too. Until that person get rebuked and be shown those things that he was going off on was not the truth. See? But they will be deceived because a person is sitting back telling the truth and then he blended lies into it. See? But they'll be deceived. See, but I'm going to get into this, and then we go get into these scriptures.
10 verse 28, and he said unto them, ye know how it is an unlawful thing for a man that is a Jew to keep company or come unto one of another nation. This is Peter speaking, the head apostle under Christ. He says, you Gentiles know that it is an unlawful thing for a man that is a Jew to be keeping company with you Gentiles. He says, you know this already. And Peter's saying it because Christ never taught them about keeping company with Gentiles. Even when Christ was on the scene. That's why Peter's having this revelation in Acts the 10th chapter. That's the whole purpose behind Acts the 10th chapter. He says, you know it's unlawful for us to be keeping company with you. You know this. And Christ never taught them anything else other than that until the Most High came and showed him what he's about to say next. But God hath showed me that I should not call any man common or unclean. Now, why did the Most High have to show Peter? Because Christ was on the scene and Christ never taught Peter that. So the Most High had to come after Christ, his death, and show Peter in a vision. And Peter was doubting this vision. Peter was doubting this vision when he was seeing it. But then he realized, okay, the Most High is showing me that I don't have to call the Gentiles common or unclean. This is the beginning of the Gentiles being grafted in, not when Christ was on the scene. Because if the Gentiles were grafted in when Christ was on the scene, there would be no need for Acts the 10th chapter. There would be no need for Cornelius. There would be no need for any of that. But that's the whole purpose behind Cornelius. Now, from here, Acts the 10th chapter, now we're going to go into Paul, the apostle of the Gentiles, and he's going to explain to a T how the Gentiles were grafted in and why the Gentiles were grafted in. They should fall? God forbid. That means no. The Israelites didn't stumble so bad that they would fall and not be able to get back up. That's what Paul's saying. But rather through their fall, salvation is come unto the Gentiles. This is how the Gentiles were able to get grafted in. Rather through the Israelites' fall, salvation was extended to the Gentiles. This is how the Gentiles were able to get grafted in. Not from Christ dying on the cross or anything else. Paul's telling you firsthand how the Gentiles are able to get grafted in. Now, let's get some more from Paul about the Gentiles being grafted in. Romans 11, verse 13. For I speak to you Gentiles, inasmuch as I am the apostle of the Gentiles, I magnify mine office. If by any means I may provoke to emulation them which are my flesh, and might save some of them. Paul says, I'm speaking to you Gentiles, and I'm letting you know that by any means I'm doing what I have to do if I may provoke some of them to jealousy, which are my flesh. He says, even if it has to do with grafting you in and preaching the word to you, I'm doing what I have to do in order to bring my flesh and blood back into the fold. Now let's find out who Paul's flesh is according to Paul himself. Let's find out who his flesh is. Romans 9, verse 3. For I could wish that myself were accursed from Christ for my brethren, my kinsmen according to the flesh, who are Israelites. He's talking about all 12 tribes of Israel, northern and southern kingdom. That's his flesh. Who are Israelites? So that's who he's trying to provoke back, provoke to jealousy, so he might save some of them. That's what Paul was doing and using the Gentiles for, to provoke to jealousy the 12 tribes of Israel so he can bring them back to the fold and save some of them if it may be possible. In verse 17, and if some of the branches be broken off, let's find out who these branches are referring to. See, Paul right now is giving an analogy of an olive tree. And the olive tree, we're going to find out that it represents the 12 tribes of Israel. So let's find out what prophecy Paul is quoting from in order to get the understanding on what he's breaking down right now. Jeremiah 11, verse 16. The Lord called thy name a green olive tree, fair and of goodly fruit, with the noise of a great tumult. He hath kindled fire upon it, and the branches of it are broken. The branches of it are broken. This is the same thing that Paul is referring to. Now we're going to find out who were the branches that were broken off. That's what we're going to find out as we continue reading. For the Lord of hosts that planted thee hath pronounced evil against thee, for the evil of the house of Israel and of the house of Judah, which they have done against themselves, to provoke me to anger in offering incense unto Baal. The branches that were broken off were both northern and southern kingdoms. 11 verse 17. And if some of the branches be broken off, the sum of the branches, as we just read in Jeremiah, was the northern and southern kingdom, Israel and Judah, the two kingdoms that split. and thou being a wild olive tree, and thou, who's the thou? Thou, that's referring to the natural Gentiles. And thou, you Gentiles, being a wild olive tree, because Israel is a good olive tree. The 12 tribes of Israel is a good olive tree, but thou, you Gentiles, you're a wild olive tree. We're grafted in among them, and with them partakers of the root and fatness of the...
Barakatha Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shah, Bahashem Kahakudash. Now let's get into it. But the first thing, and I'm pretty sure you heard all of it, and that's why I said I just don't get it with our people. It's like you have an understanding of some things, but when it comes to these damn heathens, it seems like you just lose all understanding. Just don't get it. Just don't fucking get it. But what we gonna do? We gonna open up with this, and we gonna go into that Acts. We gonna open up with this verse, that Acts 10:28, because he don't get that. So let's go here first. Acts 10:28. Let's go read that. Acts 10:28. Because going down, it says what? Cornelius' vision. He think Cornelius is a damn Edomite or something. You don't think he know nothing else. He think Cornelius is an Edomite and not knowing that he's an Israelite. See? But let's go into that. And he said, you heard what he said. He said this is the first part when the Most High Yahweh Shem Yahushua was grafting in the Gentiles, meaning non-Israelites. Like, don't get it. Some things you correct on, and then you going off on other ones. Why? Because you just can't get that Christianity bullshit out your head. But let me get it. Acts 10:28. And he said unto them, ye know how that it is an unlawful thing for a man that is a Jew to keep company or come unto one of another nation. But Yahweh has showed me that I should not call any man common or unclean. And what was this talking about? What was it it's talking about? Let's go into this another nation first. See. But then let me address this. You heard when he said first, to begin with, he said, and see what the heathens will do is they'll be speaking they lies concerning the scriptures, and then they'll write down the truth and put the truth in their dictionaries and stuff like that. So why didn't you go into the concordance, which you got a big, huge book that got 1,000 pages in it pertaining to what words mean, what the Hebrew words mean, what the Greek words mean? Why you didn't go into that to find out what this is talking about? Or why you just didn't do this? We use this to do it. See, let's grab it. Let's go into that word, another nation. Now, we gonna go grab first another. I'm gonna try to make this quick. Let's grab another nation. That's two words. Alo, philos. Philos is one word, or philet is one word, but it says philos, but it's philet is one word, and alo is another. So let's grab the first one, alo, alas, and it says what? Another, other. So we ain't got to go grab nothing else on that. You already see what that says right there. See, it says another, right? Now let's go back, and let's go on to that philet. Well, philos, but it says philet.
Strong's G 5443. Filet. Filet.
You see what it says? Let's go down to it. Philet. A tribe. In the New Testament, all the persons descending from one of the 12 sons of the patriarch Jacob. That's the point right there. See? So what it says that what? Let's go back and read it again. And he said unto me, ye know that it is unlawful for a man that is a Jew to keep company or come unto one of another nation. What? To even deal with another Israelite that's doing what? Bow down, worshiping idols, and not being a servant of Yahweh Hashem Yahushua. You can't mess with them. See? It ain't talking about no heathens, but what? You always want something to be, but to be about these heathens and shit, instead of just understanding the scriptures that is pertaining to you. It says, but Yahweh has showed me that I should not call any man common or unclean. See, now that's just like when you go, let's go here, Hosea. What is the Most High? What did Yahweh Bashim Yahushua tell us? Hosea, chapter 4, and let's go down to 17. And it says what? Matter of fact, I'm going to start at verse 16. For Israel slided back as a backsliding heifer. Now the Lord will feed them as a lamb in a large place. Ephraim is joined to idols. Let him alone. Meaning, any Israelite from any other tribe, from another tribe, that ain't serving Yahweh, they bowing down to idols and doing heathen shit into idolatry, leave them alone. Don't have nothing to do with them. Period, point blank. You can't have nothing to do with them. Or you'll be like unto them to the Most High. See? So he don't fully understand what that Cornelius thing with it. But let's go here though. Let's jump here. Let's go. Let's go here. Let's go to Galatians chapter 2. And I'm going to start at verse 7. Galatians 2 and 7. But contrariwise, when they saw that the gospel of the uncircumcision was committed unto me, as the gospel of the circumcision was unto Peter. Now what it's talking about? When it said the uncircumcision, it's talking about Israelites that was the seed of those of our people that was Hellenized, that was brought up worshiping the heathen customs, and they wasn't circumcising their children. See, they wasn't taught. Their children wasn't not taught the traditions of our customs, which is the what that you're supposed to circumcise the Israelite male child the 8th day of his birth. So all our people that was Hellenized, they stopped circumcising the children, and then later on in the line, they seed and they seeds that was in those other lands, which was Corinthians, Galatians, Ephesians, and Thessalonians, and so on and so forth. They was not circumcising their children. They wasn't coming and keeping the commandments of the Most High. They wasn't keeping the ways of the Most High. They was worshiping and bowing down to idols and doing all that shit. So they is being referred to as the uncircumcised. Was committed unto me as the gospel of the circumcision was unto Peter. For he that wrought affection in Peter to the apostleship of the circumcision, the same was mighty in me towards the Gentiles. And who was these Gentiles? Israelite foreigners. See, that's all it's talking about, but let's continue. And when James, Cephas, and John, who seemed to be pillars, perceived the grace that was given unto me, they gave unto me and Barnabas the right hands of fellowship, that we should go unto the heathen. What heathen is this talking about? Is it talking about fucking natural heathens? Not fucking non-Israelites? No, this is talking about Israelites. That what? That we should go unto the heathen. When you go to second Esdras 2 and verse 33 or 34, around there, you read it, it's going to tell you that it's talking about Israelites. See? But motherfuckers don't get it pertaining to these heathens. But then, matter of fact, you know what? Bear with me. Let me just go grab that real quick. Second Esdras going to showing you who is these heathens that it was talking about in Galatians chapter 2. Who is these heathens? Is it talking about non-Israelites? No, it's talking about Israelites. When it says Galatians, I'm Slakia, Second Esdras 2:33. I, Esdras, received a charge of the Lord upon Mount Oreb, that I should go unto Israel. But when I came unto them, they set me at naught, and despised the commandments of Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushua. 34. And therefore I say unto you, O you heathen. Who was called heathen? Israelites. Because they turned away from the Most High and was bound down to worshiping idols, going off. See, a lot of our people is going off, man. And that was always one of our biggest problems. Worshiping worshiping this other bullshit, man. Instead of serving Yahweh Shem Yahushua. But let me continue. That hear and understand. And therefore I say unto you, O ye heathen, that hear and understand, look for your shepherd. He shall give you everlasting rest, for he is nigh at hand that shall come in the end of the world. See, and this is talking about what? When Yahushua came the first time, was we given rest? No. So this is talking about after, when the second time he gonna return. See, when we really go have rest. See, but who was called these heathens? Israelites, man. So let's grab another one. Let's go to Galatians 1 and 16. Let's go to Galatians 1 and 16 right quick. Let's go down. Yeah, I read that. Galatians 1 and 16. Matter of fact, damn, let's go up some. Start at 15. Galatians. Yep, I'll start there. Galatians 1 and 15. But when it pleased Yahweh, who separated me from my mother's womb and called me by his grace, to reveal his son in me, that I might preach him among the heathen, immediately I conferred not with flesh and blood, meaning what? Those that was what? That was in the land, that knew, that was brought up according to the traditions. That's the flesh and blood he talking about. And it says what? Neither went I up to Jerusalem, see, to them which were apostles before me, but I went to Arabia and returned again unto Damascus. And what was he talking about? Who did he go to in Arabia? Let me just grab it real quick and I'm going to come back to Galatians 2nd chapter. But let's grab it. This is who he went to that was in Arabia. Let's grab it. First, let's start here. Acts 2 and 5. And there were dwelling at Jerusalem Jews, devout men out of every nation under heaven. Let's go down. And it says what right here? Verse 8. And how hear we every man in our own tongue, wherein we were born, Parthians and Medes and Elamites and dwellers of Mesopotamia and Judah and Cappadocia and Pontus and Asia, Phrygia and Pamphylia in Egypt, and in parts of Libya and Cyrene and strangers of Rome, Jews and proselytes, all these different nations that's being mentioned right here is Israelites from the southern kingdom that was living in these other places. What else does it say? Verse 11, Cretes and Arabians. Was it talking about Ishmael descendants? No, this is talking about the Israelites from the southern kingdom that was dwelling in parts of the land of Arabia. It says, we do hear them speak in our tongues the wonderful works of Yahweh. See? But these are the Arabians that it was talking about. But let's go back to that Galatians 2. Because that point has been made. They would have been called heathens. They would have been called Gentiles. But let's go back to it. Galatians chapter 2. And let's move on. Galatians chapter 2. When I start at? Let me see. Well, I started here at 9 again. And when James, Cephas, and John, who seemed to be pillars, perceived the grace that was given unto me, they gave unto me and Barnabas the right hands of fellowship, that we should go unto the heathen, what? And they unto the circumcision. Only they would that we should remember the poor, the same which I also was forward to do. But when Peter was come to Antioch, I withstood him to the face, because he was to be blamed. For before that certain came from James, he did eat. Well, let me read that again. For before that certain came from James, he did eat with the Gentiles. But when they were come, he withdrew and separated himself, fearing them which were of the circumcision. Now, what is it talking about when it says right there, verse 12, that Peter ate with the Gentiles? What is it talking about? Let's find out. Let's go to Acts, because he was so he's so harping on these damn Gentiles, and he don't understand. Let's go here. Let's go to Acts 10. And we're going to go to 9 first. 9 and 10. Read that. Well, I'll come to the point. 9 and 10. Acts 10, 9 and 10. And on the morrow, as they went on their journey and drew nigh unto the city, Peter went up upon the housetop to pray about the 6th hour. And he became very hungry and would have eaten, but while they made ready, he fell into a trance. And what it's talking about first, when it says while they made ready, he fell into a trance. Let's grab that other translation, the NLT, so you can see what it's talking about. While they made ready, NLT. And he was hungry, but while a meal was being prepared, he fell into a trance. So they was cooking, but hey, he went to go pray. So hey, the food was being prepared while he was praying. Let's go down. Let's go to 19 to 23. And it says what? While Peter thought on the vision, because the vision they showed was the four corners of a sheet that was let down. That represented those 2 servants. It wasn't talking about food. It was talking about men. It represented the 2 servants that Cornelius sent, which were Israelites, and the soldier of Cornelius, which was an Israelite, and Cornelius. That made the 4. That represented the 4 the corners of the sheet that was let down. That's what that's going into. And it says what? While Peter thought on the vision, the Spirit said unto him, Behold, 3 men seek thee. Arise therefore and get thee down and go with them, doubting nothing, for I have sent them. See? Verse 21, Then Peter went down to the men which were sent unto him from Cornelius, and said, Behold, I am he whom ye seek. What is the cause wherefore ye are come? And they said, Cornelius, a centurion, meaning an Israelite also, a just man and one that feared Yahweh, and of a good report among all the nation of the Jews, of the Israelites of the southern kingdom, was warned from Yahweh by an holy angel to send for thee into his house, and to hear words of thee. 23. Then called he them in, and lodged them. And on tomorrow Peter went away with them, and certain brethren from Jaffa accompanied him. Now, when it says that they went in with him and lodged them, and what he says, then called he them in and lodged them. What is it talking about? Meaning he brought them into the house and he treated them as a guest. And what was one of the things that he did when he treated them like a guest? 9 times out of 10, they ate bread and fish. See? So he ate with them. See? So, but let's go to Acts 11 chapter. And let's get some more than what it says. Acts 11 and 1. And the apostles and brethren that were in Judah heard that the Gentiles had also received the word of Yahweh. Who was this talking about? Israelites, not heathens. And when Peter was come up to Jerusalem, they that were of the circumcision contended with him, saying, Thou wentest in to men uncircumcised and did eat with them. What was it talking about? That he ate with those individuals that Cornelius sent. He ate with them. And also he ate with Cornelius when he went into his house. See? But he says what? But Peter rehearsed the matter from the beginning and expounded it by order unto them, saying, I was in the city of Joppa praying in a trance, and I saw in a vision a certain vessel descending, as it been a great sheet let down from heaven by 4 corners, and it came unto me. Then the same thing is in Acts 10 chapter. See, you can read the same thing, but that's that. But this represents those 4 corners. It represented those 4 individuals that he was fit to be among, which was those 2 servants, that soldier that Cornelius sent, and Cornelius. See? And they were all Israelites, but it just letting you know that this is what this is talking about. But a lot of people, you don't see it because you got that Christianity shit in your fucking head. See? But let's transition now. I just wanted to go into that. But let's transition into what he said. He was talking about, oh, and the Gentiles were grafted in. Let's go into that real quick. Let's go to Romans now. 11. And we're going to go down. Ah, shit. We're going to go down to Romans 11 and 16 for the point. We're going to start there. Romans 11 and 16. And we're going to read that to 24. But if the first fruits be holy, the lump is also holy. And if the root be holy, so are the branches. And if some of the branches be broken off, meaning of that tree, you know what was that tree? The Israelites. And it says what? And if the branches be broken off, and thou being a wild olive tree, it ain't talking about no heathens, it's talking about Israelites that's going astray, were drafted in among them, and with them partakers of the root and fatness of the olive tree. Boast not against the branches, but if thou boast, thou bearest not the root, but the root thee. Thou wilt say then, the branches were broken off that I might be grafted in. Who is this talking about? Israelites, not no heathens. How can some heathens be grafted into something that they was never a part of? Verse 20. Well, because of unbelief they were broken off. And thou standest by faith, be not high-minded, but fear. And who is he talking to? He's telling Israelites of the southern kingdom, don't boast against the branches about those that was cast off. Because if your motherfucking asses go off, the Most High do the same thing to you. You won't be in this land no more. And you see, in 70 AD, that came to pass. We was all fucking scattered out our land, and we ain't in our shit no more. That's why you got heathens trotting down our shit, acting like they us. See? But what it says, verse 20, well, because of unbelief, they were broken off. And thou standest by faith, be not high-minded, but fear. Telling Israelites from the southern kingdom, fear. Why? Because this thing will be done to you too. What he says, for if Yahweh spared not the natural branches, who was this talking about? The Israelites that was in the land at first, and they were scattered off into captivity. Take heed lest he also spare not thee. What? Israelites that was still in the land at this time. He said, take heed lest he spare not you also. He scattered your ass out too. But let's grab it. Verse 22. Behold, therefore, the goodness and severity of Yahweh on them which fell, what? On them which what? Fell away from the Most High. Severity, but toward thee goodness. If thou continue in his goodness, otherwise thou also shalt be cut off. See? It's simple. It ain't talking about no heathens nowhere. Verse 23. And they also, if they abide not still in unbelief. Who that don't abide still in unbelief? Israelites. It says what? Shall be grafted in. For Yahweh is able to grab them in again. You see, he didn't read that. He didn't read these verses right here. He went from 11 to 17, and then he just jumped down to 24 and said, and see, it's talking about the heathens. No, why he didn't read that? Because this is letting you know who is this that's being grafted back into their own olive tree. These wild olive tree is who? The Israelites that went astray, that fell away from Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua. See? It's simple, man. But when you don't want to get that damn Christianity shit out your head and you just want to extend this to some damn heathens that fucked over you, man, the Most High gonna take that Holy Spirit from you because you know the truth, but you ain't speaking it. You're lying. See? But what it says in verse 23, and they also, if they abide not still in unbelief, shall be grafted in, for Yahweh is able to graft them in again. Wait a minute. This ain't talking about heathens. Heathens was never a part of this. See, verse 24, for if thou wert cut out of the olive tree, who was cut out of the olive tree? It's talking about the southern kingdom and northern kingdom. See, and it says what? Which is wild by nature, meaning some disobedient motherfucker. We was always rebellious. And it says what? And were grafted contrary to nature into a good olive tree. How much more shall these, which be the natural branches, be grafted into their own olive tree? It's talking about the Israelites. It ain't talking about no heathens being grafted into nothing. See, let's go to that Jeremiah. He had this one, and that's what I was saying about individuals like that. Here it is. You'll be speaking some things, you'll be on point, and then you going off because you don't understand what the Gentiles and who the Gentiles it was talking about. It wasn't talking about these non-Israelites. It was talking about Israelite foreigners. That's what it's talking about. But let's grab this. Jeremiah, let's go down to the 16th verse. You know, because it's going to be Shabbat in about, I got about 3 more hours or something like that. So, hey, I'm just doing this before. Jeremiah 11 and 16. The Lord called thy name a green olive tree, fair and of a goodly fruit, with the noise of a great multitude, which he had kindled, which, it's like a great multitude, he had kindled fire upon it, and the branches of it are broken. Verse 17. For the Lord Yahweh of hosts that planted thee had proclaimed evil against thee, for the evil of the house of Israel and of the house of Judah, which they had done against themselves, to provoke me to anger in offering incense unto Baal. See? Now let's go get that account of what these that now when we did that, when our people did that, when they offered incense unto Baal, that was representation of that wild olive tree. See? That fell away, that fell away from the Most High and started doing shit that we wasn't supposed to be doing. See, this is the wild olive tree it's talking about. It's talking about the Israelites. See, but let's go get that account. 2 Kings, the 17th chapter. And I'm going to start at verse 6. You see what it says? Israel captive. But let's read into it, though. And we're going to read down to, well, I'm going to read down to 20. And it says what? 2 Kings 17 and verse 6. In the 9th year of Hoshea, the king of Assyria took Samaria, meaning the northern kingdom, and carried Israel away into Assyria, and placed them in Halah and in Habar, by the river Gozan, and in the cities of the Medes. For so it was that the children of Israel had sinned against Yahweh their power, which had brought them up out of the land of Egypt, from under the hand of Pharaoh king of Egypt, and had feared other gods, meaning idols, and walked in the statutes of the heathen. And what are the statutes of the heathen? You start bowing down to one of the statutes of the heathen was fucking bowing down and worshiping Baal, to some damn fucking heathen ass, Hamite ass bullshit. See what it says? With like at home the Lord had cast out from before the children of Israel, and of the kings of Israel which they had made. And the children of Israel did secretly those things that were not right against the Lord Yahweh their power. And they built them high places in all the cities, from the tower of the watchman to the fenced cities. And they set them up images and groves, meaning idols, and groves in every high hill and under every green tree. See? And this is the bullshit that we was doing, and then you think we didn't deserve what the fuck we got. But what it says, verse 11, now people don't understand. You just think that your ass went into slavery and captivity for nothing. No, you ain't. You went into the Most High. He is righteous and judge in all his judgments. But let's continue. 11, and there they burnt incense in all the high places, as did the heathen whom the Lord carried away before them, and wrought wicked things to provoke the Lord Yahweh to anger. For they served idols. What did he say we did? For they served idols, whereof the Lord Yahweh had said unto them, ye shall not do this thing. But what we do was bow down to idols, just the way our people be doing here. Came here, the Most High said, you're going to worship idols, wood and stone, and all these false images our people been worshiping. See what it said, verse 13. Yet the Lord testified against Israel and against Judah by all the prophets and by all the seers, saying, turn ye from your evil ways and keep my commandments and my statutes, according to all the law which I commanded your fathers, and which I sent to you by my servants the prophets. Notwithstanding, they would not hear, but hardened their necks like the necks of their fathers, that did not believe in the Lord Yahweh their power. What it says, that did not believe. That's why Romans 11 said, if they continue not still in unbelief, see, they can come. You can be grafted back into the fold. See, if you continue not in unbelief. But let's continue. That did not believe in the Lord Yahweh their power, and they rejected his statutes and his covenant that he made with their fathers, and his testimonies which he had testified against him. And they followed vanity and became vain, and went after the heathen that were round about them, concerning whom the Lord had charged them, that they should not do like them. And they left off all the commandments of Yahweh their power, and made them molten images, even 2 calves, Jeroboam, and made a grove, and worshipped all the hosts of heaven, and served Baal. See, this is what it was talking about in Jeremiah. See, and it says, and they caused their sons and their daughters to pass through the fire, going off, and used divination and enchantments, and sold themselves to do evil in the sight of Yahweh, to provoke him to anger. Therefore the Lord was very angry with Israel, and removed them out of his sight. There was none left but the tribe of Judah only. See, so what did he say? If thou what? Don't boast against the branches, because if you want to boast against them, the Most High basically told me what? He'll get rid of your ass too. He'll scatter you out too. And what happened? Didn't we do the same thing? It was scattered out time and time again. We constantly went off, man. See, so these branches is talking about Israelites, man. Verse 19. Also, Judah kept not the commandments of Yahweh their power, but walked in the statutes of Israel which they made. Meaning, our people was going off. Southern kingdom was going off. Verse 20. And the Lord rejected all the seed of Israel, and afflicted them, and delivered them into the hand of spoilers, until he had cast them out of his sight. See? But let's go grab another. Let's get Nahum. See, because it's talking about us. It ain't nothing talking about no goddamn heathens to be, oh, and the Gentiles, and this and that. It ain't talking about no heathens. Period, point blank. But let's grab this straight to the point. Nahum 2 and verse 2. For the Lord had turned away the excellency of Jacob as the excellency of Israel. Why? What did he do to the northern kingdom? He scattered them. What did he do to the southern kingdom? We wind up going into captivity. See? For the emptiers have emptied them out, and marred their vine branches. This is the branches being broken off. And the branches was broken. When you came back into the fold, boom, Moses broke the branches off again. Every time we went into captivity, that was a form of the branches being broken off. See? Ain't none of it ain't got nothing to do with no heathens. Period, point blank. But let's go here, Isaiah. Chapter 5. Isaiah 5 and 1. Now will I sing to my well-beloved a song of my beloved, touching his vineyard. My well-beloved had a vineyard in a very fruitful hill, and he fenced it, and gathered out the stones thereof, and planted it with the choicest vine, and built a tower in the midst of it, and also made a winepress therein, and he looked that it should bring forth grapes, and it brought forth wild grapes. See what it's talking about? What it's talking about? Israelites that's going to be disobedient, and we going to go off. It ain't talking about no heathens, but he said, and the wild olive tree is talking about the heathens that's being grabbed. No, it's talking about Israelites, you idiots. Motherfucker's stupid, man. Stupid as hell, man. But let's continue. And it says, and now, O inhabitants of Jerusalem and men of Judah, judge, I pray you, between me and my vineyard. What could I have done more to my vineyard that I have done in it, that I have not done in it? Wherefore, when I looked that it should bring forth grapes, brought it forth wild grapes. And now, go to, I will tell you what I would do to my vineyard. I will take away the hedge thereof, and it shall be eaten up, and break down the wall thereof, and it shall be trodden down. And I will lay waste it. It's like it, I will lay it waste. It shall not be pruned, nor digged, but there shall come up briars and thorns. I will also command the cloud that they rain no rain upon it. For the vineyard of Yahweh of hosts is the house of Israel, and the men of Judah his pleasant plant. And he looked for judgment, but behold, oppression. For righteousness, but behold, a cry. See? And it's talking about us, man. It ain't talking about no heathens. That wild olive tree that's being grafted back in is Israelites, not no heathens. Stop rooting for these damn heathens and thinking that they got hell to pay. I mean hell to pay. Ain't gonna be no smooth, pleasant, peaceful transition for their asses. They ain't gonna be so, yeah, if you want to serve our people, yeah, you can serve them. And they say, if you gonna be happy and smiles and all this shit. No, these motherfuckers gonna be crying, howling, and screaming. Well, screaming, howling, and crying, or however you want to put it. Shit. Isaiah 27. Let's get that. And let's go down to 10. Start there. Isaiah 27, 10 and 11. Yet the defense city shall be desolate, and the inhabitant and the habitation forsaken, and left like a wilderness. There shall the calf feed, and there shall he lie down, and consume the branches thereof. When the boughs, meaning branches thereof, are withered, meaning what? When they fall away, they shall be broken off. What does it say right here? And when it says what? When the why does it say that? Why does it say when the boughs, the branches thereof are withered, they shall be broken off? Meaning when our people didn't want to, you ain't good for nothing. But let me finish reading it, then I grab those. When it says Isaiah 27 and 11, when the boughs thereof are withered, they shall be broken off. The woman come and set them on fire, for it is a people of no understanding. Therefore, he that made them will not have mercy on them, and he that formed them will show them no favor. Let's go to another translation right quick. Let's go to the NLT and read that. NLT translation. What does it say? The people are like the dead branches of a tree, broken off, and used for kindling beneath the cookie pots. Israel is a foolish and stupid nation, for its people have turned away from Yahweh. See? Therefore, the one who made them will show them no pity or mercy. See? Why? Because you ain't good for nothing. See? You ain't good for nothing. Let's grab a couple of precepts real quick and come back to it. Matthew, let's go to chapter 5 and jump down to 13. What it says? Ye are the salt of the earth, but if the salt have lost its savor, wherewith shall it be salted? It is thence good for nothing, but to be cast out and trodden under the foot of men. See? If we didn't want to serve Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua, you was no good. See? And that's why we had to be cast in. You got to repent, man. We got to repent. That's why we was cast into the land of our captivity, so you might think upon your ways and your doings and return back to Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua. But let's grab this one. Luke 13. Luke 13. And I'm going to, let me start it. I'll start at 6. Luke 13 and 6. He spake also this parable. A certain man had a fig tree planted in his vineyard, and he came and sought fruit thereon, and found none. Then said he unto the dresser of the vineyard, Behold, these 3 years I come seeking fruit on this fig tree, and find none. Cut it down, why crumble it to the ground? And he answering said unto him, Lord, let it alone this year also, till I shall dig about it and dunk it. And if it bear fruit, well, meaning good. And if not, then after that, thou shalt cut it down. Meaning what? If your ass don't want to serve Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua, man, you ain't good for shit but to be destroyed. Let's grab that what that Deuteronomy said. Let's grab it. This is the reason. This is the reason, man. Deuteronomy 28 and 47 and 48. What it says. What? Because thou servest not the Lord Yahweh, thy power with joyfulness and gladness of heart for the abundance of all things. Therefore shalt thou serve thy enemies, which Yahweh shall send against thee in hunger and in thirst and in nakedness and in want of all things. And he shall put a yoke of iron upon thy neck until he have destroyed thee. See? And that's the point which, Slakia, and that's the point I'm dealing with. If you didn't want to serve Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua, you ain't good for shit. And that's the point of that. If you didn't want to serve him, that's the reason for the purpose of that salt. If the salt ain't seasoning up the meat or nothing like that, it ain't good for nothing. Throw it outside and let people walk through it and walk and scatter the shit and walk on it. If that fruit tree ain't bearing fruit and you come around, you looking for a piece of fruit to eat and it ain't bearing fruit, man, get rid of that shit. Cut that shit down and use the wood to kindle fire. See, because it ain't no good for nothing. See, so they ain't got nothing to do with no heathens, man. But let's go back to that Isaiah 27. Isaiah 27. When the bows thereof are withered, they shall be broken off. The woman come and setteth them on fire, for it is a people of no understanding. Therefore, he that made them will not have mercy on them, and he that formed them will show them no favor. See, and that's what happened. What happened? And Most High sent the enemies against us. Every time we went off, here to come the enemies, and they finna jack your ass up for your wickedness. See. But that don't mean, hey, the Most High always fuck with when he bring us back into the fold. He always wind up fucking up our enemies anyway for what they did. So they ain't escaping. They're not escaping their judgment. You just can't say, okay, y'all, that stuff happened to y'all, but y'all transgressing against y'all God, but y'all still did it to us, and y'all getting punishment too, severe punishment. What is that? Wisdom of Solomon, is that 12? I think 12 or 22, where he said, yeah, he have chastened us, his people, but he gonna punish our enemies 1,000 times more. See, so y'all motherfuckers y'all getting the business, man. But let's grab this Psalms 80, and let's go down to 8. I would have been done, but hey, Shabbat for the business eating, and I just want to get this out. I don't care how fucking much time it take. Psalms 80 and verse 8. Thou hast brought a vine out of Egypt. What is that vine? Those branches and all this Israelites. Thou hast brought a vine out of Egypt. Thou hast cast out the heathen and planted it. And what are you talking about? When we came into our land, he was getting rid of those heathens up out of there. But let's continue. Verse 9. Thou preparest room before it, and did cause it to take deep root, and it filled the land. The hills were covered with the shadow of it, and the boughs, meaning the branches thereof, were like a goodly cedar. She went out, she sent out her boughs unto the sea, her branches unto the sea, and her branches unto the river. Meaning what? The river Jordan, all the way over to the Mediterranean Sea. That's what it's talking about. And it says, why hast thou then broken down the hedges, so that all they which pass by the way do pluck her? The boar out of the wood do waste it, and the wild beast of the field devoured it. What it says? Return. What did he say? Return. What? Return. We beseech thee, O Yahweh of hosts. Look down from heaven and behold and visit this vine, and the vineyard which thy right hand had planted, and the branch that thou madest strong for thyself. It is burned with fire and is cut down. They perish at the rebuke of thy countenance. Let thy hand be upon the man of thy right hand, upon the Son of Man, whom thou madest strong for thyself. So will not we go back from thee. Quicken us, and we will call upon thy name. But see, the point was what? It's talking about us. So what if we wasn't good for nothing? What did he say? That fire was going to get kindled upon us. You see it right there. It is burned with fire and is cut down. They perish at the rebuke of thy counselors. Meaning what? When we went off, hey, the punishment coming. The enemy's coming, and they finna devour our land and kill some of us, and the rest of the ones, they're going to be going into captivity. So it's always talking about us, the Israelites, man. Period, point blank. Let's grab this one. Hey, it is what it is. I just want to bring this out. Ezekiel, I started too. It says what? Son of man, what is the vine tree more than any tree, or than a branch which is among the trees of the forest? Shall wood be taken thereof to do any work, or will men take a pen of it to hang any vessel thereon? Before it is cast into the fire for fuel, the fire devours both ends of it. And what both ends of it is talking about? That tree, which is our land and us in it. So southern kingdom and northern kingdom, or northern kingdom and southern kingdom, both ends of it was devoured. And it says what? And the midst of it is burned. It is meant for any any work. Is what? Is it good for any work? Meaning what? You didn't want to serve the Most High, so you was good for nothing but to be destroyed and to be cast out of the land. And what it says, before, when it was whole, it was good for no work. Meaning you wasn't good to be fired to be kindled upon you, destroyed. How much less shall it be met for yet for any work? For the fire had devoured it, and it is burned. See? So let's continue. Read a couple more. Therefore, thus said Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua, as the vine tree among the trees of the forest, which I have given to the fuel for fire, it's like it to the fire for fuel, so will I give the inhabitants of Jerusalem, and I will set my face against them. They shall go out from one fire, and another fire shall devour them. And ye shall know that I am Yahweh when I set my face against them. Verse 8. And I will make the land desolate because they have committed a trespass, said Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua. See? So, bottom line, do that dude even... Stop rooting for these damn heathens. They're going to get it. It ain't going to be no pleasant transition. That's why the scripture says he going to rule over them with a rod of iron. Being ruled over with a rod of iron, that ain't talking about you going to be smiling and everybody going to be getting on holding hands and shit. No, you're going to be ruled over harshly. You think the Most High going to have his people fucked up for their own wrongdoing, and they did come back and get us right, and then the heathens, they ain't going to be chastised at all? They just going to have some smooth transition. Bullshit. Bull fucking shit. And let's grab one more. Let's grab that Wisdom of Solomon right quick. Let's grab this. Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 4. Couple verses. Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 4. What it says. Wisdom of Solomon 4:4. For though they flourish in branches for a time, yet standing not fast, meaning we not continuing to serve Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua, they shall be shaken with the wind, and through the force of the winds they shall be rooted out. Verse 5. The imperfect branches shall be broken off. What was this imperfect branches? Those wild olive trees. The Israelites that fell away from the Most High. See? And what it says. The imperfect branches shall be broken off. Their fruit unprofitable. Not ripe to eat. Yea, meant for nothing. Meaning good for nothing. See? So if you didn't want to serve your purpose, boom, here come the enemies. Most High gonna use the enemies to afflict you because you didn't want to serve your purpose, which is walking in the righteousness of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua. See, we wanted to walk in the wickedness of the nations, and that's what you get. But they as go get the business for even afflicting us. See? Period, point blank. But let's go back to that. Let's go back to it again. Where we started off at. Let's go back to Romans, and I'm ending it off now. Romans 11. See, so in what? So let's go down to 20. And it says what? Slakia. Romans 11:20. Well, because of unbelief, they were broken off. And thou standest by faith, be not high-minded. For if Yahweh spared not the natural branches, take heed lest he also spare not thee. So what is it talking about? Israelites. It ain't talking about no heathens, period, point blank. What it says. But therefore, behold, therefore, the goodness of the severity of Yahweh on them which fell, what? Which fell away, that wild olive tree, leaving away from the ways of the Most High, severity, but towards Yahweh goodness, but towards thee goodness. If thou continue in his goodness, otherwise thou also shalt be cut off. What was it talking about? The Israelites, man. And they also, if they abide not still in unbelief, shall be grafted in, for Yahweh is able to graft them in again. Who? Israelites. For if thou were cut out of the olive tree, which is wild by nature, who was that wild olive tree? The Israelites, not no fucking heathens. and were grafted contrary to nature into a good olive tree, how much more shall these, which be the natural branches, be grafted into their own olive tree? See, so it's talking about Israelites, man. It ain't talking about no damn heathens. See? And then, matter of fact, I might as well do this before I end it off anyway. So let's address this point. Let's go back up into Romans 11 chapter. Let's go up though, because he was so harping on these Gentile stuff. And what it says, Romans 11:11. I say then, have they stumbled that they should fall? Yahweh forbid, but rather through their fall is come salvation is come unto the Gentiles for to provoke them to jealousy. And all he said what? That's talking about the heathens. Yeah, see, and he said he was going to end with Deuteronomy this and didn't he don't like he was on point with some things, but it's the point. It's the fact of the matter is you rooting for heathens, you losing it. You're losing right there when you trying to say these Gentiles was heathens. You're losing. You're losing big time. See, you root for these damn heathens, that's gonna be your damn downfall, man. See? But let's see what it's talking about. Let's continue reading on first, and it says what? For to provoke them to jealousy. Now the falling away of the falling of them be the riches of the world, and the diminishing of them the riches of the Gentiles, how much more their fullness? For I speak to you Gentiles. See, he says, and Paul saying, if you speak to these Gentiles, the Gentiles is the other nations. No, it's not. It's talking about Israelites. It says, insomuch as I am an apostle of the Gentiles, I magnify my office. Verse 14. If by any means I may provoke to emulation, meaning jealousy, them which are my flesh. What is it talking about? His flesh, the Israelites. But it's talking about those of the circumcision. When he said of my flesh, yeah, the Israelites is his flesh. And he went to Romans 9, verse 3, 1 to 4 is the point. Yeah, his flesh is the Israelites. But when it's talking about this, it's talking about those of the circumcision. He says, what? If by any means I may provoke to emulation, what? Jealousy, them which are my flesh, and might save some of them. What is it talking about? He said, might save some of them. It's talking about the difference between Israelites that was what? Of the circumcision, and Israelites that was of the uncircumcision. Matter of fact, let's go to a quick precept right quick. 1 Corinthians 9, and let's go down to 20. And what it says, 1 Corinthians 9 to 20, and unto the Jews I became as a Jew, that I may gain the Jews, to them that are under the law as under the law, that I might gain them that are under the law. That's talking about the Israelites that was of the circumcision, those that was circumcised of their children the eighth day, those that was still in the land. Rather to those that was not circumcised in their children, and those that was not brought up according to the traditions of our customs. And what it says, verse 21, to them that are without the law, as without the law, being not without the law to Yahweh, but under the law to Mashiach, that I might gain them that are without the law. See? And what it says, verse 22, to the weak became I as weak, that I might gain the weak. I am made all things to all men, that I might by all means save some. See? So let's go back to that Romans. And what it says, if by any means I may provoke to emulation, jealousy, them which are my flesh, meaning told those that was the southern kingdom, those that was circumcising themselves, rather than those of us that wasn't. And it says what? And might save some of them. So what is it talking about? Now, who was he said he was making jealous? That he was gonna make us jealous by the heathens, bringing the heathens in, grafting the heathens into this fold. No, no, no. That ain't what it's talking about. Deuteronomy. And I done went long enough, but I gotta get this out. Deuteronomy. Let's go down to 21. And it says what? I'll start there just to the point. They have moved me to jealousy with that which is not power. They have provoked me to anger with their vanities, and I will move them to jealousy with those which are not a people. I will provoke them to anger with a foolish nation. Who is it talking about? It's talking about Israelites. Period. Point blank. It ain't talking about nobody else. When you go to Acts, chapter 13. And well, let me see, what is that, 42? I started 42, but the point is 46. And when the Jews were gone out of the synagogues, the Gentiles, who Israelite foreigners, besought that these words might be preached to them the next Sabbath. Now when the congregation was broken up, many of the Jews and religious proselytes, those religious proselytes was our people that was leaving the heathen customs and coming back to their own fold, meaning returning back to that olive tree. And it says what? Father Paul and Barnabas, who speaking to them, persuaded them to continue in the grace of power, Yahweh. On the next Sabbath day came almost the whole city gathered together to hear the word of Yahweh, meaning Israelites. But when the Jews saw the multitude, they were filled with envy, what? Jealousy, and spake against those things which were spoken by Paul, contradicting and blaspheming. Then Paul and Barnabas waxed bold and said, it was necessary that the word of Yahweh should first have been spoken to you. But seeing ye put it far from you, and judge yourselves unworthy of everlasting life, lo, we turn to the Gentiles. And who was these Gentiles that they was turning to? Israelites, period, point blank. Let's go here to show that. 1 Corinthians 10, and let's go down to 20. 1 Corinthians 10 and 20, what it says, but I say, Slakia, that the things which the Gentiles sacrifice, they sacrifice to devils and not to Yahweh. And I would not that ye should have fellowship with devils. Who is this talking about? Is this talking about heathens? But I say that the things which the Gentiles sacrifice, they sacrifice to devils. Is this talking about heathens or Israelites? Let's see who these Gentiles it is talking about. Let's go back to Deuteronomy. (32). And we're going to go down to 16. Let's see who it's talking about. Who is these Gentiles it's talking about? It's talking about Israelites. Period, point blank. And I'm going to read this and end it off. What it says, Deuteronomy 32 and 16. They provoked him to jealousy with strange gods. With abominations provoked they him to anger. They sacrificed unto devils, not to Yahweh, to gods, meaning idols, whom they knew not, to new gods that came newly up, whom your fathers feared not. Of the rock that begat thee, thou art unmindful, and hast forgotten Yahweh that formed thee. And when the Lord Yahweh saw it, he abhorred them because of the provoking of his sons and of his daughters. The point is, you see it. Coming down to 21 again, they have moved me to jealousy with that which is not power, and they have provoked me to anger with their vanities, and they have moved me to jealousy with those which are not a people. I will provoke them to anger with a foolish nation. And who was this foolish nation that our people was being jealous of? Those of the circumcision was being jealous of those of the circumcision, which was Israelites, because why? They was being brought back into the fold. And that's what that's talking about, man. So I know it took so long, but hey, I had to get it out. The truth is that if any of our people really want the truth, I wouldn't care if the elders do a 2-hour lesson. I wouldn't care if the elders do a 3-hour lesson. If I want to understand it, man, I will sit there and I will listen and take heed so that I might have the knowledge and obtain the wisdom that the Most High bestowed upon them. But a lot of our people, they don't have patience to listen. And that's why your ass going to be through when the destruction comes. You ain't going to know how to move or run or move. And I'm going to end it off there. All praise be to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh, Shah, Ba'ashem, Brakah, HaKwadash. Brakata Yahweh, Brakata Yahweh, Shah. Shalom, Yasharallah.